Welcome again to Monstieur, a show where we discuss and redesign the most terrific icons of entertainment. This week, everyone's favorite ninja from Tekken and Soul Calibur, Yoshimitsu. Enjoy.
Alrighty. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Monstieur. As you heard from our badass mascot, um, we're doing Yoshimitsu this time around. And to start things off, Alexandru Papa, will you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Alex. I'm a freelance illustrator, comic book artist, and yeah, concept artist. And like hanging out with guys like you and having fun.
Well, it's good to have you back. This guy's been
Thank
returning
you.
very often, and we always love to see everything you have to show us.
Uh,
um, all right, Matthias Osland. What's up?
Hello, guys. Yeah, thanks so much for having me. Yeah, my name is Matthias Uslan. I'm a concept artist from Norway. I currently live in Newcastle working for Adam Hawk Studios. Yeah, thanks so much for having me here, Amir.
No problem, no problem. Yeah, we quote unquote grew up together, online hangouts and
Yeah,
whatnot. So
way back in 2015, actually.
yeah, yeah. No,
Yeah,
it's been crazy. Then we fell off, and it's just awesome to see you again, see how much you've grown, and all the success you've had. It's just awesome.
appreciate it, man.
Um, Annika Sorensen, well, what do you do? Where you at? What's going
Hi,
on?
I'm Annika. I guess I'm a freelance illustrator and student. Just finished my freshman year of college, and I'm here to learn more, improve, get better, get them gains.
That's what's up. That's what's up. The rest of us, it never stops. We're always gonna be a student. Um, Randy Taroni, the man.
Hey,
Hey, what's
hello.
up? Would you
Hi,
introduce yourself for us, please?
my name is Randy Taroni, and I am a freelance concept artist and illustrator. And that's what I do.
Cool. Nice to have you, buddy. Kanji, my man.
Hi, I'm Kanji. I'm from the UK, and I'm God's greatest mistake.
You're a gift to all of us. Mistakes into miracles, right? And I am your host for this episode, Amir Alam, concept artist and illustrator. I work for Hitbox sometimes, they're just my most frequent client. And James, again, could not be here today. So I've personally taken up the mantle to try my hardest and run this whole show into the goddamn ground. Like I said before, last time I didn't do a good job. You guys still came back. So I did a Yoshi stream and played video games and tried to cringe you guys out there. It didn't work. But hopefully, with this show, you can see all these lovely people. I'm going to take them with me, and we're all going to commit career suicide for your viewing pleasure.
Yay.
Yay!
Well, I'm here.
I mean, I'd have to have a career for you to kill for that to be possible.
Cannot kill what is already dead. All right. So, to the matter at hand, Yoshimitsu. What do you guys think about the character?
He's a goof. He's a goofy guy.
Yeah, he's dope. I mean, all the character designs throughout all the 7 games is dope, and his story is kooky too.
Oh yeah. What do you think the story is? Because there's a lot of different versions from any different person you talk to. There's an official thing online that not everybody agrees with. What?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
there are
well,
there are two versions, I guess. One from Tekken and one from Soul Calibur.
Mhm.
Two different versions.
Yeah. Yeah. In the Soul
mm,
Calibur version, he is more like he gets his power from his sword itself. and the sword's
Yeah.
name is Yoshimitsu, and
Yeah.
he's part of a long line of ninjas who just somehow, through a twist of fate, have something to do with vengeance. So he's a vengeful spirit, but he's supposed to be kind of a good guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind
Even
of.
though he looks like a complete weirdo / monster / villain.
Like me.
Yeah, sure. Big boss.
Big mouse.
I was about to say Voldo, but you'll do fine.
I can do a Valdo impression for you. You want to see?
Go for it.
No, I'm joking.
I'm
No,
curious,
no,
actually.
no. No, I'll do my back bends for you later. I'll take off the shirt, put on the cod piece, the whole thing.
Oh yes.
Annika's just like, what did I get myself into?
Hi, welcome to Monstieur.
Yeah, we're all just committing.
This is our hangouts, though. This is not that new.
Fair. Yeah, I try to keep it chill.
But I want to know more about his lore, since there might be a few viewers who might not know anything.
Yeah, sure. So let's get to Kanji's take on it, because Kanji's liked the character ever since it came out, and he has a unique view on it. What do you think it is, Kanji?
Well, I was quite surprised doing some research for this. I always thought he was like a complete cyborg. It turns out, actually, no, he just has one mechanical arm, which shocked me because most of his designs are very mechanical looking.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I played the first Tekken back when I was 7 years old in the arcade. Eventually got around to playing Tekken 3 for way too many hours on the original PlayStation. Yoshimitsu ended up being the character I used the most and learnt all the moves for. Just something about him that I liked. I think, being a complete troll at heart, I enjoyed the fact that you could essentially use him to wind up inexperienced players by doing things like pogoing around on a samurai sword.
Or the suicide move.
Yes, and I think he also have some kind of projectile attack in Tekken 3 as well. Like, he was the only character who could do that.
You're talking about acid spit. He spits in your face.
Yeah, that one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
That golden boy gif.
I think
I think like a purple mist kind of thing like that. You do it like a purple gas. But...
Yeah, it's an unblockable high move. Leads to a lot of damage. He reels back, so if you try to jab him, it's not going to work, and he spits in your face, and it's just ultimate troll.
Am I imagining things, or could he also boomerang his sword at you in that game?
Okay, so my favorite version of him was in Tekken Tag Tournament. He
Okay.
could do all kinds of really cool stuff. He could do a helicopter thing with spin his arm and with his swords fly up in the air and then come down on you, or he could get on the ground and do this like meditation thing and like then teleport behind you and then get you. And then the ultimate move is his move that takes about 75% of your health away, which is this stab. It takes a long time for him to do it, but if you stab him,
he winds back and then goes in and stabs, so the backswing actually gets gets you out of the way, and then you just go in and stab him. It's rough.
And also, he's the only character that, like you said, when he uses that meditation move, you know, that thing, also he gains back his HP.
Yep. Yeah, and it forces players to get close to you, so when you see him coming in, you just teleport behind him.
Yeah.
It's garbage. It's absolute garbage. What do you guys think about how the character's design has changed over the years across both of the games? I'm sure you guys did your research, and you can pull up references if you want to tell us your point.
Oh, who's gonna go first?
Anyone.
Well, personally, I found.
Go?
Oh yeah, go ahead. Go ham.
Yeah, I was just like looking through pretty much all of them, first of all, but the ones that stood out to me that was fascinating was the one from Tekken 3 and one from the latest one, which is 7. And 3 had that sort of view. I think that is the most popular, right?
Uh, a lot of people, that's how they got into Tekken 3. That was the
Right.
debut. Yeah.
Yeah, because he has this real cool kind of almost alien look and this ornamental looking armor, and it's very romantic. But the 7-1 is a lot more cyborgy, alien, organic looking shapes, and I'm all about the organic shapes.
Yeah.
And the tendrils and the tentacles and his head as well looks dope. So when I looked at that, I just focused on mainly those two elements, but I also took a bit from 4 and 5 as well.
Nice. Nice. Well, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Let me pull up my favorite Yoshi costume just to show. I guess. I don't know. I don't know. I just want to show it. It's so cool. One sec. My musician. This is like one of the best players who uses this character to like today, and I just love, absolutely love this design.
God, but the fact, like, you have to
Let
know
me show
so
you.
much
Oh
more.
my god. Here. So, this design, in my opinion, best Yoshi design other than 3, because 3 is just the most iconic, right?
Yep.
But yeah, like I love the kanji or the characters all over him and the gold. It's just so swaggy. And he has a guitar like me.
You know, for a ninja, he's not very subtle, is he?
No, not at all. He's gaudy as hell.
It's more likely a samurai, I guess. Or
Oh,
some sort of samurai combined with the ninja.
yeah, totally.
I love his bug design where he's a bug.
Which
It's a good one as well.
is that Tekken 6?
I don't know. I don't play fighting games.
Oh.
I know. I'm sorry.
Heretic!
I like the
Yeah.
bug design too.
This is
It
the
was very, very different.
Very buggy. Very bug-like.
But I have to ask, what does his design change so drastically throughout the series?
There's a lot of theories. I think so first of all, I think they just wanted a character that just looked different every time. Just the variety of the character is just always wacky and awesome. But I guess lore-wise, he he's actually he comes from a line of Yoshimitsu's.
Yeah,
Like
it's more than one person.
yeah, so just to hammer home the fact that he's just a different person every time. But I think the sword stays the same. I think the sword is always the spirit of like Yoshimitsu, at least from what I could understand.
Yeah, and what I saw about, at least when I was doing research, that he's kind of like a Robin Hood charlatan kind of character, so he steals a lot of his armor, which is why in like the games where he's wearing more traditional armor, it's all mismatched and the colors are kind of weird and nothing ever fits properly. So I don't quite understand the transition to the cyborg one, but it's still really cool.
Yeah.
I do remember there were some magazine articles when I was young where I think they got his backstory completely wrong, essentially. They were talking about him being like a space ninja who was actually a robot, and it turns out that was completely apocryphal. He's just meant to be like a guy with very flashy dress sense and a mechanical arm. So.
That makes sense. I mean, that's all it has to be, like, to get the idea across, right?
Yeah. I think it's also in like the Tekken 1, like the promotional materials for Tekken 1 described him as a space ninja in the West, so there's this like strange idea that's popped up with that he's maybe some kind of alien that I think some people have, but that's not accurate either.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Like, the lore is just all over the place. The only thing that's consistent is how mad people get when you play against them. And that's pretty much it.
Maybe they wanted him to be like a space ninja thing, but kind of had other ideas and like, well, he can be whatever I want him to be.
Yeah, he became cyborg Japanese Robin Hood instead.
Yeah.
He's just a dude. He's just a dude in a suit.
But what's interesting to me is that he kind of, I don't know if anybody feels this way about him, but he kind of feels like a trickster as well. He has this attitude, the personality, and I don't know, even the recent design kind of has that jester hat looking with the things coming out of his head, but
Yeah.
that's not just for me.
Mm.
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that totally means trickster. He's like a Robin Hood trickster type character, and it totally comes through in the gameplay. Why are you here twice?
My other two.
Okay, well, now we have, I guess, two Alex. Okay, cool. Right on. The more the merrier.
Just a second,
Read more articles.
my browser just froze.
Yeah, Jitsi gets like that sometimes. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, I had to restart my Chrome because of that.
Oof. Yeah, I hear that it works better on Firefox or yeah. But anyway, back to the matter at hand.
No, it's fine.
Yoshimitsu. Let's actually throw down on these redesigns, huh? You wanna
Yeah.
you wanna show your
Hell
stuff?
yeah.
You
Dude, I'm
guys
curious.
dying
This
for
is
it?
what I've been waiting for, man. This is what
Alright.
I'm really here for.
This is what you're really here for? Then you're going first.
Really?
God damn
I
it!
thought it was. Oh no! Yeah, I didn't even. Oh well. Yeah, sure. I'm excited. Why not? I haven't
Yeah.
done the share screens before, so I'm gonna see if I'm doing this correctly. I'm gonna do the application window,
Yeah.
and let me know if you can see it. Can you see it?
Yep.
Loud and
Yeah.
clear.
Oh,
All right. Okay. Great.
Make it like, can you make it just a tad smaller, like control minus once, just so we can see the end of the sword, the whole design. Perfect.
Yeah.
And press F and tab.
There you
That's
go.
Oh
That should
my
be it.
god. Look at this man. Alright.
dude, I
Yeah.
almost did that exact pose.
Oh, you did the exact pose.
almost. I scrapped that
Oh.
idea.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I did some poses that kind of mimic the Tekken 7 one, which is the one that I'm, as you can obviously see, most inspired from. Because I really wanted to believe that Yoshimitsu was a cyborg, but when Kanji said that he's not really, and I read up on into it too, that he was more like a human, I kind of played around with that idea. So in Tekken 7, if I'm not wrong, okay, you probably know Tekken way more than I do. If I'm not wrong, in Tekken 7, he is much more of a cyborg, as far as I know when I read up. So he was experimented on, and he had his armor. So I thought, yeah, am I right?
Well, yeah, I'm not sure, but he definitely looks more cybernetic in these iterations, doesn't he? Like with all the octopus stuff and all
Yeah,
of the, yeah.
the sound, the fleshy sound when he like walks.
Yeah.
He sounds badass too in Tekken 7. Personally, I really like that design.
Yeah.
So this is why what I mean by the sort of ornamental feel with his the Tekken 3 version, where he has that kind of like armor, but I kind of wanted it to be slightly modern at the same time. So he has that traditional sort of I don't know if it's Japanese or whatever culture. It's kind of like whatever culture I came up with in my head, and it's what he's wearing. And what I thought about specifically about this version of Yoshimitsu is that you know how the sword tests the wielder from time to time?
Yeah.
If you pick up the sword for the first time and this person or this version of Yoshimitsu picked up the sword and it tested him, and it tested him so hard, usually it burns up the arm, and in the original series it destroyed his arm, but here I thought about what if he almost completely destroys him as a whole, and he pretty much almost died. And it changed his form, it changed the way his look, his flesh is turned blue, and maybe kind of like in Tekken 7, he's turned into a cyborg, so he's just kind of like barely alive. He shouldn't really be possibly alive, so he has these like tubes, these I don't know what you call these, like with blood or whatnot.
Yeah.
That it controls like pressure in his body, because the sword makes sure that he stays alive, because the sword has accepted him. And once he's like put in too much pressure, he has this little meter on his forearm to tell that if there's too much strain on his, it goes ahead in his body, he has to release steam and whatnot.
Oh, that's cool.
And I also thought about what if, the pressure, that really goes all the way up into his skull, and all that sort of, I guess, evil energy goes, it's kind of like absorbed into the tendrils or into these tentacles, and they will, let's say if he goes into his ultimate mode or something, gets really stressed, he loses all of these tendrils, and maybe he goes into like berserk mode.
Oh, so like maybe the tendrils have like a bunch of fluids in them that are stored while he's just kind of like bobbing and weaving and like, just fighting in general. And then when he goes into rage mode, those tendrils just like get flat and noodly, and then his body just gets real buff.
Oh, that could totally be it. That's even a cooler idea. Like I can totally go with that idea. I'm open.
Yeah.
And then he also has this Fumaken, right? Yeah, am I right on that one? Where he has this holy sword that he got from this it was like called a demon hunter clan or something, that they gifted him this sword throughout at least the lore I was reading. So he's wielding this thing called the Fumaken.
Oh, that's cool. I like how it's like a little bit shorter too, just because, you have your on-hand weapon and your off-hand weapon. It's super dope.
Yeah. So that's basically the designs I went for.
I love it.
Do you guys have
So
any questions?
Why are you so damn beautiful, boy? This design's awesome. Yo.
Yeah, I'll zoom in on his face a little bit. I really liked. I mean, it's still not finished, as you can see. There's some white spots, some rough areas.
Where?
I really wanna. It's everywhere. I mean, there's a lot of like on his hand, on his tendrils.
That just
It looks
gave
like
it
exposed tendon. It's so cool.
Yeah, that's what I did. So he has like exposed tendons. So like that sword really destroyed his body, but there's a lot of bullshit anatomy happening. So I'm not like, I'm just having fun.
That's
But-
alright.
But
Stinky
yeah.
Yoshimitsu.
Mm.
Let's let it rest on the face for a second, so we can.
Oh
get
yeah,
the-
for sure,
so
for
the
sure, man.
Picture
There you
can
go.
clear up. Dang. I really like how much thought went into this. There's so much juice in this idea. It just shows us like how somebody, when they're working on games, you're actually in a studio, you're really thinking deep into how all these functions would actually work in real life. And that's really cool.
Yeah, it's kind of thinking about the functionality behind the character. It's kind of the easy part, or sorry, the hard part is already been done for me. The design of Yoshimitsu is there. I just had to cherry pick and then add my own little flair to it, So I just had to kind of make up some function that would make sense to me with the sort of design language that I wanted to follow, which was these tubular elements mixed with this like white plating that he has, and then you have this ornamental that's on his shoulder pad, on his chest, on his face, and then I really wanted this cool, that kind of respected his Tekken 7 design, which is this blue flesh thingy. Well, in Tekken 7 he's red, but I wanted to be weird about it. So
Yeah. No, I mean it comes through. Actually, speaking of weird, that hits Yoshi right on the head. And I think the cool thing about your design is that you still gave it enough of a horror element to be kind of unsettling and creepy, and your whole Matthias kind of art personality just gave something so unique to the character that just ultimately resulted in just a really badass and interesting to look at design. I like it.
yeah, thanks a lot, man. I really appreciate it.
Yes.
I like it. It looks like you really went in and really were thinking about all the little things, like the texture and what kind of cloth and what kind of material, and what I mean. The
Yeah.
anatomy deep down.
Exactly. Yeah, thanks a lot, man.
That seemed like your focus on this.
Yeah. So let's humanize you a little bit. Let's get you to roast yourself. What do you think you could improved on? What do you think you could have improved on with this piece? What do you actually not really like?
Well, right now there's a few things, but mainly it's the cloth that kind of feels a little bit odd to me. I always struggle with cloth a little bit. It's something I'm kind of still figuring out. I kind of like this top part. It kind of flows in the right direction.
Oh
It
yeah.
has these right tangents where there's a pull, and it falls down in kind of right way. But in this area, and then near his groin and all that, it kind of pulls and falls in a bit of a weird order. Another thing is lighting. With this one, I focus a lot more on local value and occlusion shadows, but I'm still sometimes struggling a little bit with lighting and how to make that convenient. So that's the main 2 pointers that I feel I kind of lag behind. So it's cloth simulation or simulating cloth, I guess, and then it's lighting.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure to the average viewer, they can't see half of that, if not any of that, because you did such a good job on the whole piece, and your claw stuff doesn't really detract with the entire image. I hope you know that. Looks great.
Thanks a lot. If you guys have any comments, please roast me. I need some feedback on this one because that's much appreciated.
Oh, we're gonna roast them?
Come on, guys.
All right.
I
All
need
right.
this.
Let's bring it on. This is the mentality an Adam Hawk guy has. He just wants the criticism, cut the BS. Let me get good so I can give you a better product later. I really like it. I like it. Oh, yeah. Okay, guys, open it up. You guys have any crits? What could you have done better?
Or differently, for that matter.
Or differently?
I really want to say something about that unfinished foot, but I also have that problem with mine, so I'm just going to keep it zipped.
Right on, man. That's fair. That's on me.
Do you want me to add in something?
Yeah, throw it on, man.
Let's see. Okay, so I like the way, like I said, the design and the way that you've approached like all the materials and like all the thought process. It's gone into every part of it. I guess it just thing I can't get over the fact that there's no ground shadow. Just like a little shadow. You could add that in like 5 seconds. The ground shadow on the floor, but
No, it doesn't need to have any ground shadows because it's a ninja and they have that white smoke and shit.
Yeah, you're critiquing his critique now. It's dog eat dog world.
No, that's actually a fair point. Because they would do this in concept art when you present the character, that you need to make sure to show depth in the character and that it's actually properly presented. And this has to do about presentation and making sure that the viewers are not confused. So that's actually a valid criticism.
Okay.
I think it will be a really cool addition to this. Like, I love what you've done here already, but maybe adding, at least in like the Tekken 7 design, he's got a bit of he's shiny. He's got a bit of light to him. Having some like light sources or maybe like bioluminescence in the tentacle or something would really make it pop.
That's a good one, actually. I'll write that one down.
Yeah. Look at him. He's taking notes too. This is
Yeah,
a
why not?
superstar mentality.
From me, notes from me.
You mean you're not gonna get offended?
Hey, look, every feedback that I can get is me getting closer. Well, there actually is no end goal, but it's just it's gains. It's all about gains here. Come on.
Just be sure to put us in the credits for your next Adam Hawk game, okay? These are our ideas.
I'm just kidding.
In the next Tekken game, how about that?
Yeah.
You're on Tekken 8.
Yeah, Tekken 8, done by Matthias Aslant.
Actually, I can go through a little bit of the process if you guys want me to.
Yeah.
That's not too much time. Yeah.
It's not. No, we're ahead of time. Let's see it.
All right, great. So this I'll start off here. This was the rough sketch that I did.
Wow.
And it started off like this. I'm just gonna pull it to the side like that. And it was just like slap dab, having fun with it, trying to figure out mainly the pose and sort of like, I don't really care about the proportions as much, as long as I can get the gesture, the energy, and kind of like the rough design elements that I want to be in there. So the very first one was this one, which is, it's this one's really weird. I did not like this one at all, but I like the feeling. It kind of has this cyborg, kind of creepy, kind of Russian experiment-esque look to him. So it's like, okay, it's not quite there. It kind of looks a bit ridiculous. I don't like the pose, but maybe it's getting somewhere. So I changed the pose, and I thought, hey, that's kind of cool, but not quite there. I want to try a different one, try a different design. I went with this one. I liked it, and I continued from there mainly. And once I had mainly the gesture and some of the design elements, such as the tendrils, the thing he had on his face, which is just like tubes, and it's kind of like when you go to and have surgery, or I don't know, they put these like things on your head. I kind of look like they're doing like brainwave
Oh yeah.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah, that type of stuff. Just having that on his face. These little I don't know what you would call them, compressors on his shoulders.
Yeah, you really went the medical route. Like it's a cyborg unit that is feasibly attached to a human body.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, he's got these mechanical elements attached to flesh.
Yeah.
Is that why you went for the kind of blue and white and olive green color palettes, because it's somewhat linked to a medical environment?
Yeah,
Dr.
for sure.
Yoshi.
Yeah.
Yeah,
cool.
exactly. Yeah, I thought the white would have kind of added to it a little bit, kind of like this sort of made up hardened plastic or something like that that's attached to him. So it's like you can see blood. If he cuts through people, you can see the blood on him. So yeah, just refinement, continuing, more refinement. And then at some point, what I did was I duplicated it. I set it as multiply, and then I went into the levels and blow out most of the grays, so it's white. And this will allow me to add some colors in there much more easily. So what I do is I make a clipping mask.
Oh my God! Wait, I'm writing that down. Hold up, stream. This is all about me now. 1 second.
I gotta say, I really appreciate. I really like how it looks in the sketch and in this at this stage of it. I just really look. I really like that. I love sketch. I love drawings. So I guess I'm partial to that. But I really like this part.
What I like about it, the first sketch. Can you show the first sketch?
Yeah.
That you made, the first one.
This one?
No.
That one?
This one? No. You had a different one. Or this one?
Talking about the finished sketch, maybe.
No. That was just a rough sketch. It was no. Just a few lines.
This is the first sketch for the
This one, yeah. What I love about this is that it gives me a slight, or I don't know, not quite slight, but a cool vibe of Amano's art, if you're familiar with him.
Amano who exactly?
He's the guy who does most of logos and logo illustrations for Final Fantasy series.
Oh, Yoshitaka Amano.
Yeah.
Yeah, that rings a bell. That rings a bell, man.
Cool.
Really?
That's a huge compliment.
Yeah, I really appreciate it, man. Thanks a lot. Yeah, because the process I'm only going with here is, as I said, mentioned before the stream started, I mentioned Wesley Burt, and he has a very organic process. I'm actually kind of following his process here. It's based off of a workshop. I don't know if it's available on YouTube, but if I can find it, I will share it.
Yeah, please do.
But yeah, so I went with that, and that's why I like going with black and white first, because I get the shapes, I get the values first, and I'm mainly thinking about local value about this, because I need to separate, or at least I like to separate the materials, so that if it reads in black and white, then it's most likely going to read in color as well.
Yeah, that's basically concept art 101,
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, you start with gray tones, black and white, and you solve your light issues, your volumes, and then play with the colors.
Yo, I got a criticism already. You should have gone with white tentacles. What the heck? That looks so sick.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
White
Hey.
tentacles look so
Oh.
good.
White
Oh,
tentacles is
man.
cool.
the white tentacles are way cooler, bro.
Yeah, bet you that blue though, those
green.
blue lines were glowing though.
Yeah.
Aw.
That would
It's
have
good
been
that I'm showing the process here, guys. Now I
Yeah.
know what to do.
Aha!
Well,
I'm gonna write that down. Thank you so
better.
much.
You better. All right.
All right.
Well, cool stuff, Matthias, and thanks for giving us an insider's look on what goes on in the actual industry and what an artist really thinks about.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, invaluable for anybody in the chat who's trying to get good at art themselves.
I really appreciate it, man. Thank you.
No problem. No problem. Well, who's next on the chopping block? Does anybody want to volunteer? Good, because I'm going to choose. Oh, look at all these eager faces. Look at all these.
How am I supposed to go after that? How is someone just
I was just thinking the same thing, you know. I'm just seeing that like, nah, okay.
Yeah, you're like, I don't want to go anymore. Can we
Yeah.
go?
Okay, bye. Have a great
See
time.
you guys. Well, that was a good show.
See you guys next week.
Yeah, no, I'm just letting this linger here, just so I can see all you guys squirm for a little bit. Get it? No, I'm joking. Okay. Alex.
Okay.
Yes. I want to see your masterpiece.
Yeah, masterpiece.
Masterpiece.
Beforehand, I didn't do any coloring or photoshopping, no texturing or such things. I just made it full in ZBrush and just a render. And I hope you like it.
Oh, so you actually went into 3D to do it.
Full ZBrush.
Just the render, he says. Okay.
It's just render.
Just the
Now it's
render.
ready to be exported and put into a game.
Yeah. It's only game ready, not a big deal.
Yeah.
Matthias's work was cute. Mine's kind of cute. You know, I have a...
Yeah, it's
Okay, here it goes.
Let's see it.
I'm excited. Oh.
Just the render, he says.
He's only render, I mean.
The Chad 3D versus the Virgin 2D.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, right in the feels. This is great.
No,
Wow.
Yeah. It looks really cool. I'm glad to see you're pushing yourself. I don't think I've seen you do 3D on this channel before. This is the
Nope.
first time.
Yep.
Wow.
yeah, man, I like it.
So give us a little bit of an insight on your process here. Or not even process, but what were you going for? Oh my God, you got a back. Okay, just show us the whole thing. Let's see it. Turn it around. Let's see this baby. Ooh. It looks good from that angle too. You're right.
He looks,
God.
he looks like he's just coming out of like a super fast move, and it's like
Yeah, from the teleport one.
it's got like the speed lines. You know what I mean? That's what
Yeah.
those things coming off the back look like. It's pretty cool,
This is his after image.
and it's like purposefully like faded out on the legs.
Yeah.
He's
How-
about ready to do that scene, maybe.
Yeah. He's winding up for a double slash.
No, I mean like he's come from behind and he's gonna like cut your head off both.
Yeah.
of them.
Yep.
I can see
Wow.
that. I can see that. So so man, Alex was working on this right before the stream, like, oh, I gotta fix a few things. What were you working on? How did you like what needed fixing?
Just a second. The things that I needed to fix was I added a few spines here at the elbow, and these horns at the mouth.
Wow. That's so cool. You actually, I was assuming, honestly, when I asked that question, I was thinking that you were in Photoshop just adjusting lighting, maybe adding a few colors here and there, blah, blah, blah. No, this guy was modeling before the stream.
Just
Did
the
all this-
render.
We did all this like an hour before stream. Wow.
No, oh
Barely.
gee, that would be awesome. But I like spent the last 3 days on it.
Yeah.
So I have
And
a question.
sure,
When you start doing this, do you start with just like the ball and ZBrush, or do you start with like some kind of base model?
no, with the ball.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Look at that.
And what I loved about this was, let me check this one. I used the horns on his head and the ones from his mouth, and I oriented them and twisted them to make it look like a helmet, to give the illusion of a helmet.
Cool. That's a good idea. It's efficient. It's efficient. Can I see the back view again? I really liked that back. Look at that. That is
Yeah, that's pretty
incredible.
cool.
I like the interweaving shapes. It's really nice. It looks pleasing to the eye.
Yeah, I want to touch it. I really want to touch it. I don't know what it is.
Group
And
artist.
also for the chest, let me check it. In my profile, here is a better view. The chest, I did some sort of a dragon-ish form to the whole chest and the abdomen. You know, just like the horns of the dragon, the eyes, and then the mouth ish.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. It reads. It reads exactly like that.
Was that idea inspired in any way by that one character from Baki the Grappler?
No.
Are you talking about the guy with the dragon back?
Yeah, it's got like the
Yeah.
demon face made with the muscles on his back.
Oh yeah, demon back. Yeah, that was dope. That's dope. Well,
Oh yeah, I actually see the comparison.
what did you struggle with anything in this piece at all, or were you just like born perfect because it looks perfect?
You know, that there's a huge block and, you know, a huge cube, and I just removed the useless parts, and this, you know, Yoshimitsu was already inside, so, you know. The thing that I didn't quite had enough time to finish it, I wanted to do a full body, you know, to see the legs, and I wanted to do, you know, a stance. You know, the upper body would be the same, but the legs would be fully straight, just like, you know, he does that twirl teleport thing. And this is the second when he's, you know, teleports in front of you or behind you and cuts your head off.
Yeah.
But, you know, being out of time, I just went with the effect of, you know, that plasma stuff or something, Nightcrawler-ish effect of teleportation.
Very cool. That is very cool.
And also I wanted to make it look like, you know, to be a printable, you know, miniature and have it on, you know, on your desk or something.
Yeah, you know what you could do to actually make this printable. You should do some decorations on the platform itself, and I think you can just automatically just sell this.
Yeah.
Something badass about it. Yeah, cool stuff, man. Cool stuff.
Yeah, thanks.
Very cool. Love it. Love it.
Would you like to go through your design choices on this character? For example, some of the armor elements.
I just went full spikes. Let me get a front view. You know, it's all started from the head. I thought about the how the mask should be. You know, starting from the traditional, you know, samurai, you know, that demon mask, and I did one horn, and that was the basic, you know, the trigger for the whole of it. And I said, I just want to go spiky and combine all those spikes and elements with hard edges, and but also organic, like
Yeah.
Mhm.
Why would you want to go with the organic?
I it's easier for me to do organic than hard surface than mechanical, and
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Same.
it's much more. I don't know. It gives a different dynamic to the pose and to the character, because it's not like mechanical stuff. It's a bad thing, but it's, for me, from my point of view, it's kind of overused. So I just went full organic.
It's awesome. That is really cool. I really like the on the glove. Your forms are so um how do I put it? They're so clean. And in ZBrush, that's kind of hard to do. You really cleaned up your corners, even turned the
Yeah,
shape just very cleanly. I like that.
yeah. Just to use a custom shape, custom brush, clay brush that does something like like it's on the base, but then use the soft and just soften, 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 and then went from there. And also there's a tool that does the flattening, that flats some shapes.
Yeah, trim dynamic.
Trim dynamic, yeah.
Yeah, I love that. That tool's awesome. I see it a lot in this, and it's also kind of hard to use. So you did a good job, man.
Well, once you get used to it and understand its mechanics, it's like a piece of cake then.
All right,
Yeah, a
well,
piece of cake.
piece of cake. Just showing
It's
my
just render.
masterpiece. It's just render.
It,
Just
well,
thing.
I just this is my first fully 3D character, and it's like never did anything before in ZBrush. I just do, I know, just play. Of course, I didn't finish the crank yet. It will be soon, but this is the one that I fully completed, and I'm glad that you like it. You like it.
Yeah, it looks great, buddy. Hey, thanks for sharing.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
thank you.
no problem. No problem. All right. Next on the chopping block, I choose. Look at this nervous face. I choose Randy Tironi. You're up.
Hey,
Let's
all
see
right.
it.
Okay.
Oh, he looks pretty chill. I didn't look very
Give me a
nervous to
second.
me.
Oh yeah, no.
I am
Cool.
I am so scared.
That's
Oh,
actually
I
his fear
can't do
face.
this. Okay, let's see. Let me find
Reveal yourself to us.
an option
Yes.
here.
Yeah, if you could screen share, that'd be cool too.
I'm going to right
Yes.
now.
Oh,
Female Yoshimitsu. Let's
Yeah.
go.
yeah, baby.
Oh
So,
wow.
Oh,
oof, nice. Oh, cool. I like
Well,
your
I
shapes.
did a gender bender and wanted to try something a little different, I guess, because Yoshimitsu is usually a guy,
Yeah.
and I guess I went for more of a sexy character, as obviously you can see.
Hmm.
And do you guys have any questions or?
Yeah. Well, it looks like you went like a fusion between like a ninja design and a little bit medieval thrown in there with some dragon bits. Tell us a little bit about your thought process on how that stuff came to be. Because I
I
see some Japanese stuff, but I also see medieval and fantasy influence. What's going on?
Yeah, well, I know that every design is like very crazy and different, so I wanted to go with something kind of crazy and different. Wanted to make. I know he has no. She has. Yoshimitsu has like a prosthetic arm, so this is a prosthetic arm on the her right arm over here is prosthetic.
Okay.
Um, and so I wanted it to be more like, uh, I don't know, more blocky, uh, medieval looking, maybe ancient, evil-looking, mechanical-looking arm. And the armor, I just want it to be a bit more, a bit more medieval and maybe mixed in with a bit of other ancient cultures. A little, almost, I was maybe a little bit Mayan-ish, kind of, but not that much.
Okay. I can see a little bit of Machu Picchu in there, like
Yeah.
interlocking stone bits. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's also
And
interesting because it's
go
the.
ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to add. I find it interesting that you actually exposed the face, which is something that you don't get to see in the Yoshimitsu designs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But maybe I'm wrong.
They don't
No, there
actually.
is no face in any of these designs.
He's never revealed his face in the games.
Yeah.
Actually, in a Soul Calibur game, I think it was 4, he had a mask that opened up, split down the middle, and there was a skull inside. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of like to. I did something like this for the game Warframe one time. You guys know the game Warframe?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
Where, you know the character Sauron?
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I made a version of Sauron that was like, normally the Warframes have no face and they got, they're completely like robotic ninjas.
Yeah.
So I did a video like that where I took her and made her look sexy and showed her face and everything, and it got like 35,000 views or something from the
I
video.
want to see that video.
I can link it.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll link that.
Yeah. Link it over to the buds so we can watch it after the show.
Sure.
But but what is that? Is that a dragon on top? Is that an anglerfish? What's going on with the face?
Put it back. Put it back.
Bring it back.
Hey!
There.
Get the titties
That-
back on screen.
Yeah.
What
What
are you
gives?
doing?
Give titty.
Is that better?
I can't see it.
Give it a sec. Give
Can I reload it real quick? Because it's freaking out on my.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Here, give me 1 second. I got you, homie. I got you.
He's
my
got you.
Chrome is freaking out. It's a problem.
Oh, okay. Come back.
It's like all triangles everywhere.
Yeah, come back. So while he's gone, I'm gonna open this up on my screen so that we can all view it uninterrupted.
Oh, smart.
And
Big brain.
Beautiful.
Big brain moment.
Yeah, experience.
I found the addition of the class an interesting choice.
Hmm
Why is my
The thing that's really jumping out at me is that the titties kind of look like the Diablo health bar.
thing?
Oh. That's where the help is.
No, I'm having trouble loading it. What gives? Okay, here. It
No,
is.
there it is. It's good.
Back.
What I like about it is at the first glance, and the fact that you said that it's a gender bender, to me it feels like it's if Yoshimitsu had sex with Taki,
Yeah.
and this is their daughter,
That's
Takishitsu.
I do love Taki, the character.
Oh yeah.
Good character, yeah.
Yeah, it does kind of look like Taki. I can see that. I can see that. The skin tight suit, even the face. Yeah.
And also strong legs, because Taki was basically kicking ass everywhere.
Yes. No, she's
Yeah.
just strong because she can kick. That's where the strength.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But Randy,
Yeah.
let me know what did you struggle with this design? Let's humanize your awesome work a little bit. Did you have any problems with bringing anything to fruition?
Well, I think the hard part with doing this kind of design, I wanted to feel like it was Yoshimitsu. I think that was the hard part. Always being like, okay, did I go too far? Did I get too far away from Yoshimitsu? That's the real problem. I want people to look at it and say, hey, yeah, it's a Yoshimitsu, but it's kind of tough to do that when you go that far, when you get a certain percentage away from what people know Yoshimitsu to be,
Yeah.
So,
I think there you could have used some shapes a little bit better. I can see that, like maybe bring some more classic Yoshimitsu shapes like the helmet or something, and then just have like a woman's face behind glass. That might
Yeah.
even, yeah,
Maybe even a stance that was more like Yoshimitsu 2 would have helped.
yeah, yeah, like on the sword, like Pogo, or
Mhm.
Dragonfly.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree totally. Like maybe even have him, yeah, like you're saying, like have her like sitting on on the. That sounds weird. But you know what I mean. Like he's sitting, he's the pogo on the sword. You know what I mean? Like that.
That could
No,
actually be kind
you're
of
just being
cool.
sexist, bro. I don't
No,
know.
No,
I'm not
I'm actually
trying
saying
Wow, look at this
to. You
guy
came up with the idea.
fired
Like
up. This is all him. That's
I'm
not
gonna
what
be
you
on.
said, bro. That's not what you
I,
said.
I'm gonna be on Randy's side here. I kind of think that's cool.
Yeah, no. I do
yeah.
think it's cool. I do think it's cool
Uh,
too.
yeah, maybe if she was like doing the pogo, but she was like meditating, like him. Yeah.
Yeah, that could work. That could work.
Which design were you most influenced by?
Which what design?
Yeah, which one of the series were you most, or if you have like a group?
I would say the original was my favorite
Oh,
because
really? Yeah, no,
yeah,
I see it when you say it, actually.
the original Taken 3 was my favorite. Well, I think a lot of people Taken 3 was like their first Taken, you know.
Yeah.
That was when it really took off because before that it was just kind of like a game you saw in the arcade at a pizza place or something. And
Yeah.
then it went big on the PlayStation 1 with Taken 3. I don't know, it's just whenever all the designs got so good. And
I was about to say, like, all three of the first Tekken games were on the PlayStation, but the third one is when it really kicked up a gear in terms of presentation.
yeah, like you remember like King, the guy with the lion head or the leopard head, the
Yeah.
wrestler. I
Yeah.
always remember that
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah,
And
that's the stoner character. Everybody's like, is it really a lion head or is it a guy with a mask?
and
It
then they
roars.
really and then
It's
they went
Tiger
really
Mask at home.
yeah,
Yes.
and then and then they uh and then they brought in Law, who was basically Bruce Lee, and it was like
Yeah. Yeah.
what
That was super sick.
Oh,
Tekken
which
3
was
was a good game.
what?
my
What?
brother.
Which character was it that was basically just Jackie Chan from Police Story?
That's Lei Wulong.
That's the one.
Yeah.
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 He had one
And
of the
then they
most
brought in
iconic.
Eddie. Remember Eddie?
Eddie was cool.
Yeah,
Everybody was spamming the chopper with Eddie,
Eddie was not cool. Fuck
the
Eddie.
windmill.
Yeah, it's just
yeah.
that's for people to play if they only have one hand. Just
Yeah, two combos.
yeah,
Yeah.
no doubt. But yeah, cool stuff, Randy. I'm glad you showed us your work. Definitely awesome, and I don't think it. I think you could have done a little bit better with the making it look more like Yoshimitsu, but it's interesting nonetheless, and definitely appreciated. Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
I think this is what also James wanted us to go like borderline, like almost our own way of interpreting the character.
Well, yeah, that's what the show's all about. We want to show how you would do any given subject material. I mean, the subject material is important, but this is for you guys and for the audience to see
Thanks.
something they ain't never seen before. If we just had Yoshimitsu from Tekken 3 over and over and over, how
That'd be alright.
be okay, I guess. It'd be okay.
Yeah,
I
just
guess.
try to have fun when I'm doing this on this show.
Yeah, yeah. No, we're showing you, man. I think artists appreciate that.
Yeah, that was a big thing, actually, just trying to not just do the Tekken 3 design all over again, because that one is so good.
Yeah, I think all of us struggled with that, for sure. But now that you talked, Kanji, show us
No,
how you struggled by getting away from the Tekken
Yay,
3 design.
Kanji!
Yeah,
shit.
let's see it.
Oh, there you go.
Oh.
Right, is that just a blank screen?
Yeah, I thought you were making a joke.
He's a ninja. He's stalking in the
It's a
dark.
ninja. That's it. The best design.
Yeah, he stalks in
Okay.
the night.
Okay, just give me a second.
I really appreciate your Amir and me.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, is Kanji coming back? He's coming out, coming back. All right. Well, while Kanji figures out his
No,
situation.
no, I've got it. I've got it.
You got it? You got it? You
Yeah.
sure? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's see it.
Okay, let's open the screen share menu.
Alrighty. Can't wait to see it.
Don't mind me coming back in and out.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, there we go.
Oh
Hey.
wow!
Look
Can
at
just
it.
make this a bit bigger. As
Look
well.
at this dude.
If you saw him in the train station,
Wow.
Definitely give him $1.
I would say, please cut me. My body's ready.
So,
Oh wow!
tell us a little bit about this masterpiece, Kanji. What's going on?
I wouldn't really call it a masterpiece, considering how little of it is actually finished. But yeah, I spent about a week straight struggling to come up with any kind of idea for what to do for this. And then just started looking at different reference to try and get some interesting ideas. So I dug out a load of artists I really like Yoji Shinkawa, Sergio Topi, and then just tried to see what.
Ooh, Sergio Topi.
I love that guy. I think he's my favorite artist. But
Yep.
yeah, the robe is stolen wholesale from a Topi design, actually. But
Wow.
yeah, the big thing was just coming up with the idea of slapping a Tengu mask on him. Everything kind of started to fall together piece by piece after that. And then kind of maybe suggest that he was a bit more of a cyborg than just having one mechanical arm. So I decided to make all the limbs look a little bit mechanical.
Yeah, and I think that also goes along the trend of Tekken 7 in general as well. I mean, they took the character and pushed him in a way more cybernetic direction, right?
Yeah, I mean, it could still just be a guy in a suit in there at the end of the day, but he does look quite cybernetic, yes.
Yeah. Did you paint like every stroke of that pattern on his pants? That looks sick.
Yes, I did paint that by hand like an idiot.
No, the effect is great though, dude.
Your presentation is like A+.
It's all just ripped off from Sergio Topi. That's where I get all my ideas from.
Every single one.
It's
Wait,
fine.
What about those? Does Sergio Tapi do those blocks in the background? That looks
Yes,
surprisingly modern.
that's straight ripped off from one of his designs. And a little circle as well.
I guess it makes sense because Yoshimitsu steals everything about his look. Steal his look.
I'm being meta. It's intentional, honestly.
No, I think this is one of the more rendered pieces you've shown on this show in recent episodes. I think.
Yep.
Is it all digital? Because a lot of it looks like watercolored in the back.
It is all digital. It was done on an iPad using Clip Studio Paint.
Yeah, the background looks watercolored. It's cool.
There's some really, really good watercolor brushes in Clip Studio. It's worth checking out.
Apparently.
This episode was not sponsored by Apple. I just want to say that right now. But it was also
It's not sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends.
Oh no.
Yeah, don't you have an advertisement?
Can you zoom out for me? I want everybody to see the full picture, top to bottom. Let me see if that looks good. Can you zoom out a little bit more?
Okay.
He's just chilling. He's just hanging out.
That's as far as it goes.
He looks like a blade of grass.
Oh yeah, doesn't it? That is cool.
He's just chilling out there like that.
Yep.
Like, what are you looking at?
Move along, chop chop.
Chop chop. Nothing to see here, boys. No, I like it. I really like the play you did on Yoshimitsu's pose. And everybody sees it once they look on this. Look at this. Because normally when Yoshimitsu stands on his sword, he's hunched over. He's trying to keep balance, and this just takes it to the next step. Now he's just ethereal. This is a badass win pose, I think.
thanks. That was the thing. I did try doing some of those. Like, oh, okay, so he stands on the sword, kind of hunched over. Let's see if I can do something with that. And like dozens of sketches later, didn't have anything that I liked the look of. I had some weird designs where he'd got like mechanical spider limbs and all these other things, and at the end of the day, like none of it, I didn't like any of it, and so I started just experimenting and had this idea: what if he's just standing straight up on the sword, balanced on, just weight on one foot? That might look interesting. And as soon as I kind of did a rough sketch of it, I was like, "Yep, this is it."
That's so cool. That's so cool.
What it's interesting about it that is not only that, like you said, you are heavily influenced by Topi's work, but also to me, if you were to give to change the background, like do a a desert like ground and a full blue sky, it would turn in something like inspired by Mobius work.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. That's pretty high praise.
Yeah. No, it's awesome. Actually, Andrew, if you look in the chat, Andrew's going nuts. He's saying,
Yeah.
"This
Hi,
is
Andrew.
amazing."
How you doing, Andrew?
Yeah. And Twix 711, you read it. He says,
Yep.
"This is your best presentation yet. Look at this."
Thank you. I've been planning on getting back into more of this because I used to do drawings that were kind of very heavily graphic design inspired, and I kind of miss doing that and want to do more of it. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
probably try and do more things like this in the future, I think.
Well, I can't wait to see it, buddy. Let me know though. Did you struggle at all? Well, let's humanize you.
Yeah, like I said, I can actually pull up. I don't know whether it'll screen share it. Maybe I'll just have to start it up again. But let's see. Just getting a black screen again. Okay, let me restart the screen share, and I'll just give you like an example of one of the dozens of pages I ended up drawing for this.
All right. All right. Hey, Andrew, you said that you're sorry you're still working on yours and you couldn't make the deadline. Uh, well, hey, it's no problem. You can always post on Monstieur Mash, and you better. I'll be on your ass about it because I want to show everybody this man's work.
And I'm gonna
Andrew,
beat you up if you don't.
yes, we're gonna beat your ass without the beat. What up? No.
No, no.
Sorry. That's an Andrew line. That's him. I hang around with this guy way too much. Like I said, career suicide. Let's do it, guys. The unblockable. Anyway, let's so Kanji, tell us what you were gonna say.
Oh yeah, this is just like, I have to zoom in on this because for some reason I kicked the opacity of the background layers down, but just did like maybe a dozen pages like this of just random sketches, and there's like body sketches as well. And this Tengu mask idea was the first thing that stuck. Like nothing else really seemed to work. Had some ideas about maybe trying to do a more kind of high-tech, cybernetic-looking Yoshimitsu, something a bit Deus Ex inspired, and that looked terrible when I sketched it out as well. So I ended up just going back to kind of old stuff, like very flowy Yoji Shinkawa designs, and looking at some of Topi's comics about samurai and stuff like that, and managed to pull some inspiration out of that and take it in a different direction.
Yeah, I feel that. Well, I mean, to be fair to you, it is a hard design to make because it's very abstract. It's all interpretation to the designer, and there's nothing really to grab onto for this design. And you're a hardworking guy. I can see it with these sketching pages. So you definitely did your due diligence. and it shows.
Yeah, I wish I'd kind of hit on a finished design faster, so I'd had like more time to render and refine everything. But it is what it is at the end of the day. So at least it's more finished than the last one.
That's true. This guy has a habit of not finishing his plate, but we'll whip him into shape by the end of this. By the end of Monstieur, if it does end.
I wanted to add a comment on his design, if that's okay.
Yeah. Go back to the other design. I have my own stuff to say about it as well. Go ahead, Matthias. You first.
Yeah, I actually thought it was interesting because this is the most traditional interpretation of Yoshimitsu, and I just wondered why you specifically picked out that design language for him. Just curious.
When you say like specific design language, you mean sticking with the kind of Japanese aesthetic, or?
Yeah. So like the kind of like cyber or sci-fi looking elements mixed in with the very traditional. At least what it looks like to me is traditional Japanese, but I'm not a professional at that, so.
Yeah, that's pretty much exactly it. That was what always appealed to me about the character. He combines two things I love: feudal Japan and robots. And just at the end of the day, all that searching around for an idea, and I just ended up coming back to two things I've always loved and mashing them together a little bit.
Yeah, well, it looks great. I'd say the only thing I would have done to improve this would be to make his armor white instead of black.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. The black kind of flattens it. Maybe even just like a dark navy blue or something.
Yeah, I wasn't really sure what colours would do the armor. I went with a kind of black iron because that seemed like a little bit appropriate with the ninja thing. But you have a point. Maybe I should just go back and repaint that all like an off-white or something.
Yeah, I think that would look cool too. Because his tentacle design in 7 is white. So not too off kilter, but I can see why you're going white or why you're going black. So it makes sense.
Yeah, it definitely contrasts with the face really well, the black. But I think having just black, you could definitely do some variation in the color.
Yeah. No, but regardless, it looks great, Kanji. This is your most render piece and your most well-presented piece. So you have nothing to feel bad about. Yeah, it's great.
Well, I'm probably going to spend another day doing a bit more rendering and refining to that before posting it up. So
when you finish it, let us know, because we all wanted this to be framed and send us to our addresses.
Yeah. If you guys want to see the finished piece, be sure to join Monstieur Mash on Facebook. We also share everybody's work on Instagram, Twitter, and in the Discord we have something going. So yeah, Kanji, can't wait to see you post.
Yeah, I'll spend a day doing some touch-ups and then send it on to you to post on the Facebook group.
Yeah, and be sure to send it to Andrew. Look at what he's saying. He says he'd hang it up. So charge this man, take his money, and give him something that he likes.
Yep. Okay. I'll do that.
Alrighty. So we got one more guest, Annika. Would you
Annika.
Please? Annika. Thank you.
It's fine. All right. Just gonna share my screen.
Yeah. Show us what student work.
I think Kanji needs to finish sharing his though.
I think you can screen share yours, right? Is it not turning on?
I don't get a. Oh, I see how this works now. All right. Okay. So.
What?
Yeah.
That's a completely different idea.
Yeah. So I've never actually really played a. Should I do this in like a full screen mode? Let me do that.
Yeah. Go for it.
Yeah, no, so I never really played fighting games, especially not Tekken or Soul Calibur, because it just, I guess, not my age range.
Yeah.
But when I was looking into the lore, I really liked the idea of him like stealing armor and stuff, and I thought, oh, that's so cool. He's got all this mismatching armor, and his design is all over the place. So I thought, like, what else is all over the place? And I thought of like the illustration of the Demon King Asmodeus from Solomon's Key,
Mm-hmm.
and I love his like eldritch horror kind of vibes. Like everything is different. So one of my original sketches, I was kind of going for more of the demon route.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I wanted to give him like actual animal heads, like coming out of his joints and stuff.
That's cool.
But for some reason, that just didn't translate well to an actual design. It made for a cool illustration, but maybe not for an actual design. So I decided to try and make the bull and the lamb, not the lamb, the ram into shoulder
Lamb
pads.
ranch.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, and I kind of went for this more of a personal, relaxed view of Yoshimitsu. Yeah, definitely more intimate.
Yeah.
This is the Dark Souls version of the
Yeah, and I was talking to Henry about it because I was struggling a bit, and he commented that actually my weird posturing that I have going on actually works in a way because I think it fits.
Yeah.
Yoshimitsu's a bit weird, and you don't know if he's human or robot or whatever.
It really reminds me of the what is that guy who plays as the king in the Crusade movie?
Kingdom of Heaven.
Yeah, Kingdom of Heaven, the Kingdom in Jerusalem. The king that had what's it called? The disease, the skin disease.
Oh, leper or
Leprosy.
somehow. Leprosy, yeah.
Yeah, and they covered his entire body all the time, and they put a mask over his face.
Oh yeah,
Like
that metal mask.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely looks historically informed. Annika?
Annika.
Okay, I got it.
Actually,
It's Leviosa.
I have a comment about his design, which I think is cool, because it is not like your stereotypical. He doesn't look like the Yoshimitsu that people would usually think of, or the design that you would expect.
Yeah.
It's not predictable.
Yeah.
Just
When
like
I look
him.
at this, yeah, but I can tell that this is Yoshimitsu because it has the elements that makes up, or I guess the blueprint that makes up Yoshimitsu, which is this ornamental armor, his mask, and then his the main weapon that he uses. And you actually manage to get in this sort of cyborg, not quite human element into it, which hits all of those ticks for what Yoshimitsu is about. But you manage to twist the theme of it, which is that's a big bonus point in my book.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, definitely really good job. I think
Really unique take on the character. I like it.
Yep.
you know what I want to see next. I want to see you post this guy on top of the sword, or
I don't even know
dragonfly.
how to do that.
It looks so cool. Can I?
You want to draw him? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's such a cool design. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, I was too focused on the figuring out how to render and make it look nice that I didn't really plan out what to do with the lower half of his body.
Gotcha.
But that's okay. Yeah, I wish I spent more time on the design than the presentation.
I feel that. I mean, generally, when your design is rock solid, the presentation follows quite easily.
Mhm.
So, yeah. Notes for next time. Notes for next time. It turned out badass, though. Definitely one of the more unique takes on the character that I've seen. For sure. Like, yeah. No, and it
Well,
works, which is
like
awesome.
it. Glad you guys like it. I was a little worried.
No, it's cool. Well, what about these horns? Are they soul horns, or are they part of the crown? What's going on?
I wanted them to be actual horns coming out of his head, but then I wasn't sure, and I kind of backtracked and put them back and took them out again. And so my background is definitely more of an illustration background, less so of concept art.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of just went for the implying it with some shadow and lighting kind of deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I was to redo this, I would definitely figure out a way to implement them that fits with the overall design better.
I feel that. I feel that. But I mean, I think you did a great job. It does look cohesive for sure. Like the feel, the look of it, definitely hits all the check marks in both the direction you wanted to take it and also, the prompt, which is Yoshi. I think you nailed it.
Thanks.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. Well, last but not least, I know we're running out of time, but me,
You.
me.
Oh wow,
Let's see.
it's your turn, Amir. Now
All
we'll
right.
get to turn on you.
Well, that's the show, guys.
Get up.
We're out of here.
Let's eat them.
See you
Be
later,
sure to
dude.
follow us, like, comment, and subscribe.
Can't do that.
Yup. No, I'm out of here. No. Okay. Let's show this atrocity. So, how do I say this?
Deep breath and just press play.
Career
Just press
homicide.
play. Career homicide.
Homicide.
Just kill your baby. Put it out there.
Yes.
He's going down. He's taking us with him.
Oh god, my hasn't even started yet, guys. Come on.
We'll start it. We'll start it right now. So for my design, I wanted to do an animation, and I made the design itself, but I ended up spending way more time on the animation than the actual design, and I feel kind of bad about it. But here's the animation. Thought it'd be kind of cool to just show a scene of him.
Oh shit.
Hey, I got the reaction I wanted.
Oh, good. Right at
Oh
him.
shit. Yeah, this is horror. This is Monstieur.
Yeah, that's kind of the idea I wanted to get with the
That's so cool.
the design, because I didn't think that I could push it into an actual scary place without atmosphere, just because the design itself is already kind of, terrifying and action oriented.
It is terrifying. You know why?
Why?
Because look at all those pictures hanging off the wall. What's wrong with that place?
Oh, the interior
all
design is awful. You're right.
It's so dirty.
Wait, so do you have like a
I gotta get a sweep.
do you have a still of the design itself? Or like a sketch or something?
I do. I have a bunch of stills. I could go into how I crafted this actually, if you guys want to see.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a huge mess of obsession. It's a tragedy. It's a tragedy of wasted time and potential. It's opening right now. All right. So I do have the design here, but I don't want to show it because it looks like crap.
Show it.
Nah, I'm good. But
No.
No, show it.
oh my god. Fine.
Stop stalling.
Fine. But let me show you what I did first. Let me show you what I did first, and I'll get back to it. I promise. All right. So the character itself. Oh, that's gonna take forever to load. That's gonna crash. Oh, it didn't crash, and I closed it. Once again, I'm so sorry, guys.
He's stalling.
I'm building tension, so you guys will think my work is better than it actually is. That's really what's going on here. Okay.
Andrew says show it, nerd.
That don't work on me.
Alrighty, so let's. So this is the design lit up. I went for a more like EYE Divine Cybermancy kind of route with a light up sword and all of that. And I wanted to put like a rib cage behind a plastic case. I just went totally away from the whole he's a human thing. This is a soul inhabiting mechanical. It's a soul inhabiting a robot and controlling a robot. So
Full Metal Alchemist.
yeah, just full metal, full metal. Gave him the Japanese hakama, the samurai pants or aikido pants, whatever. And he
Bushido pants.
what?
Bushido,
Yes.
not Aikido.
Oh, okay. Well,
Uh,
the
yeah,
aikido guys they wear pants like this.
similar. Yeah.
Um, yeah, and I also did this this plating that you find on samurai armor, but I just put it over the whole arm because I like the shape. And you guys will see it when I show you how much I ripped off a bunch of stuff. But ah, that's that's it close up. I didn't really have time to get into
Is that 3D?
look good. Yeah, that's 3D. That's so 3D.
Oh.
Yeah, I did not have time to make that look good. So let's just move on.
What do you mean? Hey,
I like the idea.
Back. What the
What?
Go back.
Here?
Yeah.
Yep.
Give us the look, man.
Okay.
Yeah,
You
go us
just-
through the design process. Talk us through it.
Hey,
Well,
that's not social distancing. Scary.
It's a robot. dude.
Yeah, well, the design process wasn't actually great, honestly. This is my worst time designing because I wanted to get to the animation, and then I spent way too much on the animation that I actually never ended up getting back to the design. But I had intentions to get back to the design.
Open the third PSD. That's one. Open it.
Fine. So this is all plagiarized. Ha! No.
Yes,
screw
and
that.
I can see where you plagiarized it from. That shoulder pad is from the Ashley Wood 3A figure.
Yes. Yes. So I honestly didn't even have time. I made this. I wanted to post the stuff that I was bashing in just so that I wouldn't. This is a bibliography. It's not a photo bash, okay? It's not a plagiarism. These are actual guys that I'm showing what I did. The dirt that I did. And this is the first time I've done it like this. I just wanted to see if I could make something that could guide my hand when I'm doing 3D.
Was the head based on Hakeda by any chance?
Let's find it. I think we can find. Oh no, this is done by Metalheads. www.jaroldsng.com. That's the guy who did it.
Interesting.
Yeah. So that's I mean, so the idea was that I would create something kind of okay, then go back and make it, you know, a little bit more my own and change up the shapes. But I just ended up running out of time and messing up. So that's why I kind of didn't want to show it. But whatever. It's out in the open. And I did actually end up painting a lot of it. What?
I think it's a pretty good design, honestly.
Mhm.
Hey, thanks.
Like I can actually see this in a game working pretty well.
You think so?
Yep.
Okay. Thanks. Just to say that I'm not a total hack, I did end up painting a lot of this, and I changed up the neck piece to fit the arm pieces, and I just thought the arm idea was just too good to pass up, to be honest. Just to see, because his arms, they go into this position right here,
Mhm.
this left position. It does it quite a bit, and I think this this giant arm piece, when folded up like that, it just looks like wings, and it would look really cool in the actual design. So that's what I wanted to see.
The use of repetition is always, really cool to see. And it's not really something that people like to use a lot. They think like, oh, repetition is bad, but it's used all the time in design. And here's an example of repetition being used on medium-sized shapes, where it takes up most of the area of the character. If you look at the designs from the Hunting era game, you see a lot of those by Sang-Soo Young.
Yeah.
You can't miss it. Like he has a lot of those like repetition elements, just like strewn all over large areas of the characters. It works really well.
I'm never going to play that game, but my god, that concept art is amazing.
Right? Isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah. I just want to say I did paint all this torso area from my head. So I can paint, guys, and I can come up with my own ideas. I ran out of time.
No, I like it though. I like that it's the individual parts are complex, but the overall design is simple.
Yeah.
So I can imagine this in motion, and it helps that you did the animation too.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the main thing I wanted to sell it with. Because I was just thinking about Yoshi as a character and how to make him scary. And I just couldn't figure out a way to do it without a scene, you know? So I just wanted to make the scene. And I spent most of my time on the scene instead.
See, the problem with this is you said you wanted to make it scary, but when you said Aikido pants, the first thing that came to mind for me was Steven Seagal.
Who is terrifying, genuinely. You do not want to
And
be
now I want to see a Tekken movie where Yoshimitsu is played by Steven Seagal.
Only if he loses some weight.
No, exactly the weight he is at the
Exactly.
moment.
Don't body
Just
shame him.
exactly as he is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He's just
Yep.
on a sword like what is it? A bad motherfucker day. Or whatever whatever he said. The dumb line. But
You know the corridor scene when it's all dark and then the sword lights up. Has a resemblance to the corridor scene from the Rogue One with the Vader.
yes, that's exactly what I was going for. I made the corridor. I knew how I wanted it to light up at the end of the corridor.
Wait, did you make the corridor?
I actually ripped this picture right here. Let me see.
Yeah, what's this from?
This is from an online database. Just the picture. I didn't take a model, even though it is a model. I painted out the light, like that. So I unified the lighting, and then I also, with that, am able to turn it on and off. And then I also painted out the back, on and off, and I modified the tones to be more blue to give it a night feel. And now this is what you're left with. Just a cool ass corridor that I ripped from online. Sorry, I wanted to do an animation.
But why is Yoshimitsu in an abandoned hospital? What is he doing there?
Oh, he's assassinating somebody in an abandoned hospital who was honeypotted into being there.
He's stealing things for Dr. Boskanovich, of course.
Yes.
Maybe.
Yep.
He's hunting the person that said the C word on YouTube.
Modelo time. Bzz.
Modelo time. So,
don't take this as an insult because I really don't mean it as one, but this also reminds me of the only good scene from the recent Fantastic Four movie.
Oh, I didn't see it. What happened?
The Doctor Doom on the corridor?
Yes, and Dr. Doom is just walking through the facility making people's heads explode. It's the only good scene in that entire...
Yeah.
Cool. I'll be sure to watch it, or at least the scene. I'll just watch the scene on YouTube.
You can find it on YouTube, that's it. The rest of the movie,
Yeah, just watch that one scene. Don't waste your time with the rest of that awful film.
Deal. But not to shit on myself too much. I think that the animation itself came out okay. I accomplished what I set out to do. And that's kind of the theme of the Amir work in general, right? It's like I set out to do something, and then I'm sad about everything that I didn't set out to do, that I didn't accomplish because I wasn't trying to accomplish that, right? That's the theme that happens every single show.
Yeah, but it made us happy.
I know we've been ribbing you a lot, but I mean, clearly you did an insane amount of work for this.
Yeah, and it was just a little bit too much. Like that's my only regret with this, really. I just didn't get to go back and really spend more time on the design phase. But at the end of the day, I think the animation doesn't look that bad.
Yeah. It feels like one of those like game jam things where they kind of make something cool in like a short time period, and this is kind of like that. You did an animation within a week. You 3D modeled this Yoshimitsu piece.
Yeah, yeah. That's basically kind of what happened. So thanks,
So
man.
now put it into After Effects or Light Source or whatever, and add some music, add some VFX and SFX, and boom, bam, you have it. YouTube
Yeah,
video.
totally, totally. And I'll probably be sure to post a personal Yoshimitsu piece just to give the people what they want eventually,
Yeah.
soon. Well, we did it. I hope we're not all dead by now. Everybody's still
Nope.
alive?
Yeah.
Nope.
That's a lot of fun, man.
Yeah.
Yep.
I really enjoyed it.
You
Yeah,
think
that
so?
was great. Thanks for having me.
Hey, no problem. No problem. If you guys like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. And as I said before, follow us on Monster Mash on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram. We're going to be sharing all of these artists. And if you weren't able to catch an artist's name or you want to find more information about that artist, a master list of every single artist that has ever been on the show is actually in the description below. So yeah, yeah. Till next time. Next time it's gonna be the Beholder from Dungeons and Dragons. So if you guys play Dungeons and
Sweet.
Dragons, yeah, you guys will surely enjoy the
Yeah.
next episode. All right, everybody, say goodbye. Till next time, if we do have a next time.
Bye,
All right.
everybody.
Goodbye.
Bye.
That's a lot of fun. Thank you so much,
That was a
Amir.
lot of fun. Thank you.